Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Greetings from Rising Star Cafe here in Ohio City, greater Cleveland area, and believe it or not, I am here live in person with the Bad Jew herself, Rebecca King. You might remember that she was on the show towards the end of last year where we first were introduced to her background here from Cleveland originally, and then got out to Chicago, eventually made it out to LA where she has started this incredible grassroots movement of pork pastrami, and it is taking over the nation right now. Rebecca, it's great to meet you in person. I'm so happy that we could enjoy a meal together over at Jeremy's place at Larder. Let's start there first. After seeing about it and hearing about it, actually getting to taste some of the food there, and we had quite the spread from Jeremy, and we thank him for that. What are your thoughts on this particular place?
I was just so impressed with Larder. I mean, I went there a few years ago, right when I was actually starting the Bad Jew in 2019. I went with my mom, and I think we just ordered a sandwich, and we loved it then. And then coming with you today, Jeremy really pulled out all the stops. He made us a charcuterie plate, and everything is homemade. And he makes this miso ricotta and I don't know, it was just koji ricotta. It was just so delicious, and all of the ferments and the veg and all the meat too. It's really, I don't know, it's just so cool.
One of the guys that I know in New York City, Nick Solaris, who's a well-known meat man, came here to visit Certified Angus Beef, which is based out here in Worcester, and they always have their guys stop in to Larder because they're a Certified Angus beef promoter. And he said that this restaurant specifically is one of the more important ones in the country because of all the things that they're doing. Do you have something like Larder out in the LA area that you know of?
Yes. Justa in Venice, Lady and Larder, which is a little shop. It's this awesome cheese shop, female owned. And then Justa, they are making all of their own meat and their own pickles and their own bread. There's a ton of places like this in LA, and it's just so cool to see everyone's going to the farmer's market and making all these different fermentations. And I mean, Rustic Canyon, it's not a deli and it's not a larder, but it's a restaurant and then Birdie G's also, it's like kind of a fancier version. It's like a dinner version of Larder. And that's actually where I staged and how I learned to make pastrami. So, yeah, there's a lot of that going on in LA, and it's all so good and also different.
So as I had mentioned a couple minutes ago, we learned about you towards the end of last year. Now we're sitting in the middle of Q2 here in 2022. From back then to where we are now, how have things transpired for you personally and for the Bad Jew? Where are we sitting right now?
So I have a spot at Smorgasburg, which is essentially an open-air food festival every Sunday in Los Angeles. It's also in Brooklyn and Miami and maybe a couple other cities that I can't remember. But so we're there every Sunday. We have a tented pop-up, and we sell our Rebecca sandwich and the Juju sandwich. That's kind of like a French dip. I save all the jus from the pork drippings. And we're doing a ton of catering, and a lot of people always ask me if I want to open up a shop, and I do not. I
think the last time we were on, you thought one of your goals might be to open up a brick and mortar location.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it'd be cute. I mean, of course, I have my vision of my own space, especially after having lunch at Larder. You're like, wow, like this is special. I want to be there, but I'm flighty. I like to go places. I was also telling you this at lunch. I like to hit the road, and you can't really, it's harder to do that when you own a restaurant. So what I really want to do with the Bad Jew is I want to find a really good lawyer, a really good co-packer, and I want someone else to make my recipes for me. And I want to be able to ship to places like Larder or little mom and pop restaurants and have them put pork pastrami on their menu and reimagine it in their own way. It doesn't have to go in a Reuben. I think, the pork is so special and it's so delicious, and I put it in tacos. I made Vietnamese soup with it. I put it on pizza, dumplings, all kinds of dumplings, Russian dumplings, Chinese dumplings. You can kind of do anything with it. So it's like, that's why I want it to be everywhere. And that's how I think my way to do that is finding someone to help me make it.
So ultimately, do you see yourself securing this co-packer, helping you make as much as you want, and then you're crossing the country, perhaps even crossing the globe, and being the salesperson? You're obviously the face of the Badju and of this product, but you want to get it into as many people's hands as possible, and then have them do whatever they want with it.
Do
you not want to be cooking?
I don't want to get. I don't really want to be cooking it myself. I right now, actually, I have a guy named Jared who helps me with my smokes now because I do a lot of private chefing. I do a lot of private events, and I just don't have the time to cook it all myself. And so he's been. Oh my God, he's been my ride or die with the Badju. I love that guy, but I don't. I still want to I want to be able to quality control as much as possible. I want to know where the pork is coming from. I want to know what I'm feeding my customers. I don't want to be a giant company because I think you can start making bad decisions when that happens. For instance, someone reached out to me and they're like, we have pigs and it's this much. And I was like, oh, that's an amazing price. Like, wow. And like the meat per pound was very cheap. And I asked them where the pigs came from. And they said that people usually don't ask those types of questions. And they didn't know what the pigs, they didn't know what the pigs were eating. And they couldn't answer. I had 5 questions. They couldn't answer one. Wow. And I was so turned off. Right now, I get my pork from a company called Rocket Brothers. They get all different types of products, and they supply to a lot of restaurants in Los Angeles and beyond. And then from a farm called Pork and Flowers, when I do my copa, I have a pig farmer that I go to the Santa Monica Farmers Market. So I really know where my food's coming from, and I think that's really important. So I don't want to make too much meat. I want to be responsible if I can.
Well, you start getting involved in a scenario like the one you just painted, and you're ultimately the face, the name of the business, and at any point as you start ramping up, especially being this early in it, you get a reputation ding, and that's something now you have to overcome, or other people that are working against you are going to say, oh, well, I remember that time she bought the pigs and we don't even know if they were pigs. They couldn't even answer the simplest questions on where they were coming from or what they were fed. So you certainly don't want that. As you look at trying to secure a co-packer, A, have you started reaching out to anybody? And then B, what are the most important things you need that co-packer to do for you to do what you want to do?
So I'm fairly new to the business in general, especially co-packing. I don't know too much about it, but so I made a list of co-packers and I started cold calling, and I was getting a lot of sausage makers and people that make like frozen beef patties or chicken patties or whatever. And I have been calling people, and I have a friend named David who works on different farms, and he co-packs. And I asked him for advice, and I kind of asked him to make me a script. Like, what do I say? What do I do? So I've been calling people. I'm not really telling them what I'm making because, first of all, I don't really think a lot of co-packers are very busy. They don't really need someone who only needs 1,000 pounds a month to start. And they don't really want to make a new product. That scares people. So I'm not saying pork pastrami. I'm just saying I have a brined meat product that I want to be injected with my specific recipe and smoked. It's been hard to find. There is someone in LA, RC Provisions, that I'm dying to work with, but he's I hope he's listening. Matt, please make my recipe. He's one of the best pastrami makers, and he makes all the pastrami for
Was he a believer in pork pastrami?
Yeah, he likes it, I think. I met RC Provisions like the first week that I started the Badju. So I've been bugging them. We had a meeting and we made pork pastrami one day together. But I didn't really know what I was doing, and I made it way too salty. But anyway, he wants me to use his solution, but I want to use mine, and I'm adamant about that. I want someone to make my recipe so it can be as close as possible.
So if you use his, does that tip the scales and him taking you on as a customer potentially then? Does that make it easier for him to bring you on?
Yeah, because of course, because he already has his recipes. He already wouldn't have to. He would just. Yeah, it would just make
Does
it a lot
it differ
easier.
that much though in flavor? Have you had it his way and your way?
Yes.
There's that big of a discrepancy.
It's completely
Yeah.
different. I mean, I think going from hand making to co-packing will change no matter what, but like the spices are different, the mixture, it's completely different. And I want what I want. And I'm going to find someone to do it, whether it's him or someone in Ohio maybe, because I'm from here.
How much of a difference are you willing to accept? As you say, there's obviously going to be some kind of difference when somebody else is going to be taking over the process. So there's going to be some difference in flavor profile. Is there only so much that you're going to be willing to accept, or are there other things to consider?
Well, I think the biggest difference will be the smoke, because I think it's wood chips and it's electric smoke versus an offset smoker.
For the folks that don't know, like you have a real ass Texas offset.
I have a real ass
No joke.
Texas offset 500-gallon smoker. We use white oak. Sometimes we use almond wood when we can't get a hold of the white oak people. But
almond wood? What kind of a
Yeah,
smoke
it's
profile is
delicious.
that? Sweeter?
it's
Yeah.
sweet. It's very sweet, but it's very special. I
Expensive?
love almond wood, but not necessarily. It burns quicker, so it's.
You're
It's
using
annoying
more
to
because
use.
it's just very efficient.
Yeah, it's too efficient. No, but so yeah, I have a big ass smoker. It's 500 gallons. I could honestly use a 1,000-gallon smoker pretty soon. And when I'm feeling lazy, I use my Traeger. But yeah, so it would just be a different smoke profile. It would be it's just a little bit different. But I'm willing to accept that. But that's why I'm so adamant about using my recipe. So it is as close as possible to the original pork pastrami that I've created. And I still will use my smoker for some of my products. I just don't think wholesaling, I just don't think that's the smartest way to do it. At least for me.
So you're looking for a co-packer. You want to get the pork pastrami in everybody's hands possible. Just through the first
Good people's
hour or
hands.
two of seeing you in person, you're what I would call a very, not aggressive, but keen
Friendly?
promoter
Yeah, keen.
of pork pastrami. You're bringing it
Yeah.
up all the time. Hey, I'll give you. So you were talking about people in the airport that they get a thing of pork pastrami to try because every new person that gets it that's never had it might be asking somebody
Yeah.
to find it, or they're reaching out to you social media to sell it. You are selling it through mail order now too, correct?
Yes. So I just signed up with. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it actually. Maybe we'll hold off on that, but maybe we'll announce that. I almost
have a
said it.
perfect way on the show of being right at the point where people can say, I have something going, but I can't actually talk about it on the show. So that fits right in.
I mean, I don't know if I can talk about it, and I don't feel like texting the guy to see if I can.
So we'll
talk
just say
about
allegedly.
it. Allegedly,
You might be able to get
I'm
it
gonna-
through mail order somewhere, sometime.
very soon on a really incredible
Yes.
platform. But yeah,
Just
I'll be
another
selling
avenue,
brine
though, to
kits,
get it
rub
out in
kits.
front of people?
Yeah,
or?
that's another avenue to get it out. But yeah, right now I'm just bringing pork pastrami in my suitcase, and TSA is pulling me aside, asking me what the hell
Yeah.
I'm doing. And it's a funny story. So I was at TSA this morning or last night, or at the airport, and TSA was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Oh, it's just pastrami and pork pastrami." And this guy overheard. He's like, "Why do they want your pastrami? It must be really good." And I said, "It is really good. Take a half a pork shoulder." And it was actually ended up being a restaurant owner in New Jersey. So that's exciting. Like, you never know who you're going to meet. So I think I am aggressive. So it's okay if you say that.
Persistent in sales, we say persistent.
Persistent, yeah. I mean, I'm nice. I'm persistent. I want
It's your
people,
livelihood, though, right?
I want everyone
You don't
to.
want to be passionate about something and then not want to talk about it, or feel encumbered or inhibited to talk about the thing that's going to be making you money.
Right. And that's really exciting. I feel really excited that I get to do something that is and will continue to support me and the things I want to do.
I hate to ask this question,
Okay,
but
ask it.
we're in month 5 now. Towards Thanksgiving of this year, where do you see the Bad Jew at?
That's a good question. This year so far has been it's been exciting because I've joined Smorgasburg. I've been there for almost a year, and I've gotten so much business from being at Smorgasburg. I pay a weekly fee to be there, and then so many people that you would never expect to meet, just come up. They tell you they love your food, then all of a sudden you're catering for, again, people you never thought you'd meet. And I just did a bar mitzvah last week. Someone asked me to do a shiva, which I think is crazy. I'm mostly just doing birthday parties and like really fun events. And I think in the next couple of months, by the end of this year, I'll continue just doing really big and more important caterings, and then I'll get on that platform that we cannot say, and I'll just be shipping a ton of product. And then I think the more I network and the more I introduce myself to people, I'm hoping to get started with that co-packer.
You say, would you like to have somebody nailed down by the end of
I
the year?
would. I would. I know it takes time. I would like to get some contracts in place. I'd like to get some testing done. I imagine it will take a year, or I don't know how long it takes to get started, but I think it will take some time. I don't think it's just like, here's my recipe, make what I want you to make. I think it's a lot of testing, a lot of like visiting whoever that co-packer might be. So I think I've got a lot of work to do. You know, I'm from Ohio, so there's got to be someone here that I know. We have RC Provisions in LA, so I'm just going to keep knocking on their door. And then we have, I think Chicago has a lot of co-packers as well. So I don't know. I have a lot of work to do, but also I mentioned this earlier. I private chef a ton. I work with a company called Wholesam. The owner and CEO is my best friend, and she recently promoted me to head of operations. So that's also very busy for me. But the Bad Jew is a part of that. Every time I'm in one of my celebrity clients' homes, I'm making them pork pastrami for breakfast, or they'll have a baseball game with their friends, and I'll be serving Rebecca sandwiches. So it's gone hand in hand. Or I'll smoke pork chops or lamb, whatever, for dinner. So I have a lot going on. So, but I definitely need to I definitely need to get back on it for the co-packing search.
So if you're on the search for a co-packer, let's say through sheer chance within the next month, you're all in on somebody for all the right reasons, and they say, okay, we need an order for X amount. Are you going to have the work to meet whatever minimum or more if you're able to secure one? Are you worried? Is there a vacillation phase of, I should be bringing them X orders in first to show that I'm real, or is it getting the co-packer first and then being able to backfill with orders?
I'm thinking that, like, if I order, that you want to order, instead of doing a bunch of small orders, you want one big order. So for me to ship my meat anyway, I have to freeze it. So I think ordering like 1,000 pounds at a time, and maybe do like 2,000 pounds a month to start, then, or maybe even just 1,000 pounds to start. You do your order, and I mean, pastrami lasts a long time in the fridge, but you have it made, and then you store it in a freezer, or they store it for you. And then I think that's what I would do. Just, I think, yeah, about 1,000 pounds at a time. I don't see why that wouldn't interest someone.
Outside of the Bad Jew, the private chefing, infrequent trips back and forth to Bomb City, USA, what else are you into?
Road trips. I love road trips. I went to Colorado. I drove from LA to Colorado to Moscow, Colorado, to visit my buddy Ivan, who is working on a ranch out there, Ranchlands. That was a really special trip. I drove to Cabo the year before that, and I drove up to Seattle. I love road trips. I went up to Big Sur recently. It's really nice to just get away. California is so special. You can drive so many beautiful places, see so many beautiful things. You can go an hour away and you're in a completely different world. You can drive 8 hours away and feel like you're on Mars, like that's my favorite thing to do. And I love to go out with my girlfriends. I have a really strong chef community of guys, girls, whoever. And we just have the best time. And we have this like huge support network, and it's like, so that's what I like to do. I like to go to book signings.
Would you ever come back to Cleveland, or is that out of the picture?
Honestly, today I was walking through Ohio City right before I met up with you, and I was just in awe. It's raining. It's so green. It's so gorgeous, and it feels really special, and I see that there's something happening here and why people want to be here. It's a special place. Now, I think my business might be in Los Angeles forever, but I don't know. Maybe if I find my co-packer in Ohio, I can split my
Just
time.
be near an airport.
Yeah, that's not hard to do.
Easy enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Promotion-wise, anything else you have going on or coming up that we should be knowing about, or where we can follow you, of course, to keep up with updates?
The Bad Jew on Instagram, The Bad Jew LA, and I have a TikTok. I don't really know how to use it, but start following it. Maybe that will inspire me to.
I've had it forever, and I just started posting 1 minute to 2 minute clips of my show for like the last 6 weeks. I already have 1,000 followers. I think again it has to go
I do
with
not. I have 100
tagging
followers, I think.
properly.
Can you teach me how to tag? I don't even know what to do.
I don't know if I'm the expert, but my buddy Malcolm Reed from How to Barbecue Right, who's got over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, got on TikTok. And while it took him 8, 9, 10 years to get to the 1 million on YouTube, within a year he was already over 1 million on TikTok. So I think there's a lot more consumability there.
TikTok is dope. I got to figure it out.
You do?
Just gotta start dancing and making pork in my Dickies jumpsuits.
Yes. There's dancing and cooking and quick wit.
I'm gonna start a company called Only Hands.
Only hands.
I think my friend came up with that term, but yeah, we're gonna start that.
Only
it's gonna
hams?
be like a cooking. Only hams. A cooking thing, like OnlyFans, but not porn and just cooking.
I'm just not sure like where the currency is on that kind of social media.
Someone's gonna pay for that.
Yeah?
Yep. Someone.
Well, I have 1,000 fans in less than 2 months, so I'm pretty happy with that, considering I hadn't done anything for years of having the account. So we'll see how it goes. So we'll look for you on all those channels. Anything else before we call it a wrap here at the Rising Star Cafe?
Come find us at Smorgasburg on Sundays, and look out for a pop-up at Larder in Ohio.
Right.
Yeah. I hope Jeremy is serious about that offer, because
Yeah, 100%
I am.
serious. No doubt about
Yeah,
it. He's
awesome.
all in on different foods, different experiences, and then if he likes you, obviously he wants to help you succeed as well. So
Yeah.
He's been a big champion of my show. I've been a big champion of his, so would fall right in line. You're a fellow Cleveland gal,
Yeah.
so would love to have you. Rebecca, thanks for sitting down and doing this with me, and hopefully we
for
can have you back
having
on the
me.
show again soon.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.